Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 2016 One Nation of Gamers circuit. Today is going to be Group B of Feature Number A. My name is TJ, and I'm joined by That's Admirable. We're about to jump into the second match of the day. It's going to be Chessdude taking on Shoop. And That's Admirable. We just saw, that was a long series. That was a bit over an hour, which is, on average, a bit longer than most Best of 5 series, but it was intense. And I was on the edge of my seat for those last couple of games. What'd you think of those ones?
When you're playing the sets with StrifeCo playing those mage decks, they're going to tend to go pretty long.
Yeah.
And so with that one, sort of the standout moment, obviously, is the Reno at One Life with 2 copies of Roaring Torch in the deck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those clips I feel like is just going to stand the test of time as far as like confusion moments go, where you're like, I don't understand how this is possible. And it's just because you overlooked that one little detail. But congratulations to the Rat on a solidly played series. I don't think we really saw too many things where you could argue much on the variation of his plays. But kind of talking about this match now, Shoop versus Chessdude. Chessdude's kind of a guy who really exploded onto the scene with the North America Spring Championships, where he made top 8 and has kind of been showing off some solid play since then. And Shoop, player for Vicious Syndicate that I have personally worked with, and very bright guy, very logically driven. And when he chooses decks and makes bans and makes plays, he's always looking for reasons to them. If you can't find a reason to do something, obviously you got to let your instinct guide you, but he is going to hunt for reasons to make plays, and really have seen just so much step up in his game over the last couple of months. It's been kind of crazy. This is for a guy who's working full time as well. So to see him continue to make strides in the scene, not really too much of a surprise, and I'm expecting some big things from him in probably the next year or so.
Yeah, and Shoop, of course, sort of burst out on the scene when he won a lot in last season's ONOG circuit in 2015. He made it to a couple features and also, of course, won a few of those opens. And, you know, that's sort of the exact situation that he's making it back today, having good success in the opens again. Chessdude being one of the invited players, of course, trying to, you know, recognize some of these players that are making big strides in the Americas that have had good performance, like Terrence M from yesterday, and of course Chessdude for today. And looking at their deck lineups, not too much surprise here. Chessdude, of course, bringing Rogue, that's his signature deck. Shoop, of course, bringing Hunter and Warlock. Those are 2 of the decks that I see Shoop play very regularly. The Warriors could be wild cards. I've seen Chessdude and Shoop play many different types of Warriors. I've seen them both play Patron styles, and I've seen them both play Control styles. I've seen them both play Tempo styles. So those are sort of the wild cards here. I'm curious to see what types of Warrior decks these guys are going to have in this lineup.
Yeah, the Shaman band clearly a respect to how strong the class is at the moment. Neither player willing to kind of risk their draws against it. Maybe they have actually tailored decks to not be powerful against Shaman with the intent to ban that class. Always something to think about there. And with Shoop, I've seen him actually play all sorts of variants of Warlock decks as well. I know he loves to play Reno, but I know he loves to play Zoo, and he's also played a lot of sort of the Warlock Mage. It was kind of called last season. You know, this is before the standard rotation. It had like Azure Drakes, Leper Gnomes, Soulfires, and really was just trying to pour out weird amounts of burst damage that you don't normally expect from a Warlock. And he's had success with all 3 of the builds. I mean, Warlock has got to be his top class as far as his win rates are concerned. You know, I've worked closely with him on data breakdowns of exactly where he's winning and why, and Warlock is by far one of his top winners. And honestly, if I played against Shoop personally, even if I brought a strategy that was prepared to ban something, I would still consider banning Warlock, given the wide range of stuff he can bring and how well he's performed on it historically. That's just from a personal perspective of mine, because I have so much information about it.
Yeah, and another thing you need to know about Shoop is every time he plays in one of these ONOG circuits, he's in a different place. He will bring his laptop to random parts around whatever city he's in. He'll just plop it down and play some tournaments. I know one time he was on vacation or somewhere, and he was playing from the hotel lobby of wherever he was vacationing. So always a different environment. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
And Chessdude, this is his deck, the Rogue deck. Chessdude, I got a chance to look at some of the player stats from the Winter Championship, and Chessdude had by far more games played on Rogue than any other deck, and by far the highest win rate out of any player with Rogue in rank play. So, you know, he sort of self-proclaimed himself as a one-trick pony, but said he learned other decks in preparation for the preliminaries for last season, and now sort of realized that he's just a really solid Hearthstone player all around.
Yeah, anytime you can get good with one class in particular and kind of excel at the win rate of it beyond what other people are doing, that's really sort of what's a strong indicator of a strong Hearthstone player. It's like Amnesiac, for instance, started out playing almost exclusively Druid, and being able to pilot Druid to better win rates than what some of the other top pros were doing. Again, kind of the indicator that was you were truly onto something special here. Yeah. And he ended up taking that, learning other classes, learning the game in general, and winning the America's Championship. That was that's sort of the road that a lot of these players take. They start out with one class in particular and go for it from there. And this is looking like a pretty strong turn here from Chessdude. Multiple options open. It's Edwin looks like about the best one. 4/4 Edwin's usually good enough versus Hunter to get the job done. And even with a Blood Mage down to back up, like I say, if a freezing trap came down or something. So Shoop on the back foot pretty early on here. Let's see if we can climb back from this.
He does have a lot of powerful cards in his hand. That's one thing. So he's going to think it over. I'm probably just going to end up going with Animal... Well, I don't know. If he gets Animal Companion against Leok, he gets very punished.
Well, not too punished. I mean, the Edwin traded and then he answers back with the Eagle Horn Bow. The Animal Companion, I'm trying to see a situation that like really doesn't pan out well. And the only thing I can kind of think of is, honestly, I think Misha would be one of his worst rolls, because in the Misha, Chessdude's going to check it almost certainly from hand, where if he rolls Leok, Chessdude might be tempted to check it with the board presence. Mm-hmm. And with Huffer's a clear trade into the Edwin at this point. I mean, Chessdude invested a lot effectively into this Edwin, just being on board early on, using the backstab. And there's Malagos picked up, so that's certainly a win condition he's thinking about. This is going to indicate Shiv being in this build as well. But right now, the hand is pretty darn stranded, and this is going to be Stranglethorn Tiger, it looks like, for Shoop. But still plenty of other options. Even Fiery Bat Eagle Horn Bow is just totally fine. Try to force some more action from Chessdude, and then lead into your stronger curve.
Yeah, Chessdude's a player who always sort of tries to play the maximum skill-ceiling rogue decks. And Malagos is sort of pushing the boundaries of that. Malagos, of course, being one of the hardest rogue decks to navigate, one of the hardest decks in the game to navigate, just because you can't play it as straightforward as sort of the Miracle variants, because you have to know when you can afford to use these spells like Eviscerate, which in every other deck would just be straight up removal most of the time. But in this deck, you have to think, like, will I have enough damage to win if I play this Eviscerate now and don't have that to combo later with my Malagos?
Second Animal Companion gets drawn. This draw from Shoop is starting to look mighty scary matching up versus what Chessdude has. Normally, Sap is such a strong card versus Savannah Highmane, but one of the reasons it's strong is you can couple it with board pressure. But there's no Tomb Pillager, there's no Azure Drake, there's no Gadget Stain Auctioneer. It's just a Blood Mage by itself. And this is the kind of situation where Sap buys you some more time, but doesn't actually make any progress.
Yeah.
Really eyeing that Stranglethorn. Stranglethorn Tiger looks really good right now.
Yeah. The only thing he's thinking about is, do I delay my Savannah Highmane by a turn, but make a weaker play this turn? And he says, nah. Get this Tiger online.
I've looked at the I mean, even if that gets sapped, you just play it back in stealth mode.
Yeah. And you guarantee 5 more damage. It's like guarantees 10 damage.
SI7 agent this turn as well. I mean, Chessdude may play this SI7 agent simply to get pressure going. But my gosh, this is looking really rough for Chessdude. There's no way to really do much. I mean, even if he goes to SI7 agent here, it's going to get answered by Eagle Horn Bow. Shoop's going to continue to progress the board. This is bad news, and that poisoned up dagger does not trade well into Fiery Bat. It's one of the worst situations it trades. Is all the 1 health minions in particular.
Yeah. I mean, it trades with it, but it doesn't feel good.
Even Quick Shot Animal Companion still looking good here. Shoop has got all the options in the world, and so he's got to think through how his next couple turns look and find the plays that set up everything. And that's really what his goal is going to be.
I really like Quick Shot Animal Companion here, just because Eagle Horn Bow plus Fiery Bat is not nearly as good, and you want to sort of set up a strongest board possible going into Savannah Highmane to try and force your opponent into a situation where they're dealing with the board but not developing their own.
Yeah, I can guarantee you what Shoop's thinking about right now is, what on earth does this SI7 agent mean?
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be Animal Companion first. Evaluate. And I think there's some merit here to attacking the Blood Mage to prevent Shadow Strike from being a factor. But face damage looks awfully appealing when you're in this spot. And that is kind of late for Chessdude. Again, it's looking like it's going to be Blood Mage attack first to evaluate, and then maybe Sap afterwards. But even Sap on Leok's not looking too bad. Just Sap, Eviscerate, and go. But then it strands the Azure Drake for a turn. Wants to get value out of what he has now. And that's going to be, eyeing the Blood Mage and the Dagger first is certainly a way to get that value.
Yeah.
Can't just outright play the Eviscerate. It's got to combo it with something, and nothing in his hand strong to combo it with unless he wants to sap the Leok.
And there's got to be something playing in the back of his head. Well, I need...
That's a good one. That's a really good one. This is actually going to kind of demolish Shoop's turn after this.
Yeah. Because now he still holds on to the sap to be able to use this on the Savannah Highmane. And I don't think Shoop really has a choice. But we'll see if Chessdude can find a way back in here. Next turn, Azure Drake Sap will deal very well with the Savannah Highmane.
Wow,
if that's the case, but Shoop is going to go with... This is very powerful.
This was like a perfect draw for Shoop. Now he's got 2 minions on board to contest, even in the face of Azure Drake Sap here. So this is going to get answered, but if that huge toad lands on the Azure Drake, even Viscerate gets picked up. But he's down a Shiv, he's down an Eviscerate already. If he uses that Eviscerate, does he have the reach with Malagos afterwards?
Maybe he thinks that this game is going to be won by just minion pressure and board presence instead of Malagos plus spells. Malagos plus spells is usually there to win those sort of more control-heavy matchups. But the pressure matchups, a lot of times, you just have to just win by taking control of the board and winning through pressure. And
my experience oftentimes in this matchup is if you get to stick Malagos to the board, it means that Fan and Knives is killing everything next turn.
Yeah. And
that minion pressure that you just mentioned is the way to win, and that's exactly what he's thinking as well. Doesn't want to just put that huge stud back in hand and help out the curve a little bit more here. Gets the shot to phase 2. Very happy to see that. Maybe not from his perspective right now, but I can promise you if he could see the future right now, he definitely is very happy that went face.
Yeah.
And still the sap in hand. Auctioneer sap to answer this Highmane. This went from good for Shoop to suddenly disastrous.
I don't think you really have a choice here. So he could Fiery Bat and Houndmaster again, and then Hero Power or develop the Eagle Horn Bow preemptively, maybe even attack face to try and put pressure. You do have your opponent at 17. Attacking in 14, this bow will bring him down to 11 the next turn with Hero Powers woven in. Yeah, and he does not want to be vulnerable to the sap, so he's just going to continue to just pile on these smaller minions and try and make it happen that way. Putting these Hero Powers in, he might be able to win just this long game.
Tomb Pillager. This is almost certainly Auctioneer sap here, and let the Azure Drake bite the dust to protect that Auctioneer for a turn.
Mm-hmm. At this point, Chessdude probably has to be thinking there's no Highmane because, look at these plays that Shoop has been making. He probably feels pretty good to use the sap here just because he hasn't seen that used yet.
I think, honestly, even if he knew that Savannah Highmane was in Shoop's hand, he'd probably still go for Auctioneer sap here, protect the Auctioneer, and look to dig for the right answers afterwards.
Yeah.
Shoop does not have a way to kill the Auctioneer in hand.
So many options.
Even if he were to pick up like a kill command, he'd have to attack him with Eagle Horn Bow and kill command in order to take it out. So, but Chessdude doesn't know this.
I'd be pretty darn surprised if Tomb Pillager was the play here. The consequence of sapping that Fiery Bat is if your opponent has kill command and you play the Auctioneer this way, that they do get to kill command the Auctioneer. And so Chessdude, I think when he makes this play, is thinking, can I bait out the kill command with this Tomb Pillager and then play the Auctioneer Fan and Knives to clear up the Fiery Bat and draw 2 cards?
Yeah.
But now that he's used that sap, it's free to go ahead and use that Savannah High main. Ooh, and Harrison Jones gets picked up too. That wants the extra pressure.
Yep.
Needs those cards in hand. Deadly Shot gets picked up too.
Can you afford to use the Deadly Shot on the Tomb Pillager, though? I feel like that's something you need to save for guys as an auctioneer, but at the same time, Shoop is getting to a point where he's starting to get close to a kill with how much with some of this burn that he has left. So he's going to fit in the hero power. He's going to try and play that inevitability game. Just try and force Chessdude each turn to trade. And oh my goodness.
My. I mean, is it Malagos here is going to line up 50-50 on that Deadly Shot. If Shoop does not answer the Malagos, he is really in trouble after that.
I mean, Chessdude could also just go for Gadgetzan here. Trade in the Tomb Pillager, Gadgetzan, and just go crazy with this draw.
It's going to be really hard to pass up Malagos here.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
This is Malagos into full. Again, we were talking about this is one of the ways you win this matchup is Malagos lives.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And he picks up a spell. That's a big deal, actually, because otherwise he wouldn't have had a way, and now every spell that he picks up not only draws a card.
That shot on the Tomb Pillager here actually does give Shoop some light at the end of this tunnel, because now we can ensure the Deadly Shot. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious if he's going to feel safe to take the damage here. Like if he plays Eaglehorn Bow into the Tomb Pillager, he's going to drop to 15 afterwards. Deadly Shot on the Malagos, fit in a Hero Power Fiery Bat, and then have 3, 4, 5, 10 damage lineup afterwards. I think that's the play.
Yeah, because it does possibly set up for a 2-turn lethal. Say he Eaglehorn Bows now, Deadly Shot's the Malagos, he fits a Hero Power in, and a Fiery Bat. Next turn, he will... no, he wouldn't have enough mana to do so if the Fiery Bat's killed, but I think that's what you go for anyway. If you're drawn to a cheap beast, you have potential to win the game next turn with the kill command, the Eaglehorn Bow, and the Hero Power.
Yeah,
if the Fiery Bat shot goes to face.
Good extensions here. Chessdude now. This is the auctioneer turn, and he's going to need to close very quickly after this. Here we go.
Oh, prep. Here comes his whole deck. 2 cards from the Shiv. See where this juggle goes.
He may backstab his own auctioneer here.
So the juggle went to face, which means if Shoop picks up a beast that costs 5 or less, he wins the game.
Wow. I mean, I wonder if Chessdude maybe should have played a minion first here to try to reduce that.
What's it going to be?